And we did, you know, that was a good round by us. That was a good round by us.
Yeah.
I
Sorry, I don't even know who that is. Hold on. Hello, can you hear me? Chatters? You can hear me? Hooray! We're live! Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this! Product placement. Wow. Hi, sorry, I was gonna do a 10-minute intro. I think it was a little bit shorter. The lights are a little different today. We still need to do some adjusting. I'm sorry if it bothers you. But it's fine. It's not that bad. Oh, it was 11 minutes. Okay, easy. Yes, plushies. These launch on July 3rd. Big time. Looks good. Your shirt isn't ironed. I know. We talk about this every time. I have not used an iron in months, and I don't want to. Welcome to Animal Quest episode 9. That's crazy. At least you're consistent. Thank you. Welcome to Animal Quest episode 9. We've done a bunch of these. It feels like we've done a lot less. But we are on our 3rd out of 4 Parrots today. Today is the blue and gold Macaw edition. Delay in audio. Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Is it really? I don't have the capacity to deal with the delay in audio today. No, it's fine. Ban that guy. Get rid of him. Hate that guy. Okay. Okay. Fix your PC. If you guys haven't been here before, Animal Quest is a series on my channel where I spotlight each of our ambassadors. We talk about why we have them and some of the threats that they face in the wild. Each of the parrots has their own Animal Quest. We're participating in a bit of a research situation. So we have a couple surveys to accomplish throughout this stream. At the beginning, Tico is not going to be here, but after the first survey, Tico will be here. Kayla is sitting on the side here with Tico and Miley in a crate. So we're going to get through the beginning of all of this so that we can get the birds out of the crate and onto this perch. Water spill. Yeah, they are going to spill that water probably, but it's okay. It'll be there. Tico without Miley, we're probably just going to put them both in there. They're both in the crate right now, but we're not going to stall on this intro too much. We're going to get right into it. Are you guys ready? I'm excited. This Animal Quest is, warning, a little bit sad because there are some topics that are pretty like heavy and hard to learn about because they're pretty depressing. But there's also some cool stuff in here, so I hope you guys like it. Let's just get in there, shall we? Are you ready? Oh, look, I already kind of messed up with where my cam's going to be. Who is Tico? Before I talk about the species itself, before I talk about blue and gold macaws, we're going to talk about our blue and gold macaw and where she came from. We got her in April. No. Yeah, we got her in April of 2021 with all the other parrots from California, and this is her video. This one was made by Max. Their old owner. Look, that's me when I was bald. Tico and Miley. Look at this animation Max did. He's insane. Wait. Wow. Oh, that was sick. That's my favorite picture of Tico. The little foot. Hello. So, yes, Tico was dropped off in a box outside the Humane Society in California. Assuming just the old owner did not want her anymore. Michelle adopted her from the Humane Society, had her for a number of years, got along with her super well, and then donated her along with all the other parrots to Alveus a year ago, believe it or not, over a year ago, so that they had a place to live out their lives as their old owner was getting older, and she was downsizing. So that's how we got Tico, and that is Tico's story. Now, a little bit natural history about blue and gold macaws. Oof, I messed that up bad. Okay. Blue and gold, let me fix it, hold on. You know what? Actually, no, I didn't. How about that? Blue and gold macaws, they are common in rainforests in Mexico, Central America, and northern South America. They like swampy and riparian areas. They can live 60 to 80 years in captivity, which is a really long time. Most sources say around 50 years, but SeaWorld has 80. I've heard of some birds living a very, very long time. We don't know how old Tico is. People ask that all the time. We don't know how old any of our parrots are because they're all rescues. We don't know their history, but Tico could be, 15 years old. She could be 30 years old, 40 years old. We don't know. Because when she was dropped off at the Humane Society in a box, she came with no information. And she was an adult at that time. So, their IUCN status is least concern, but their populations are declining. Pretty much everything that's listed as least concern, IUCN, their populations are declining. We'll talk more about why that is today. They typically weigh 2 to 3 pounds with a 40 to 45 inch wingspan. Tico weighs, how many grams? Like 1160 grams, which is how many pounds? I don't know. Chat, do the math, help. And can fly up to 35 miles an hour. Hello, Russell. 2.55 pounds. So Tico's right in the middle there, of what is typical. I don't know how to. All right. Wild diet and behavior. See, I tried to make this, but I underestimated how big my cam was. They eat seeds, nuts, and fruits. Sometimes they eat clay to aid in digestion. We have a little bit of video here to show you why they do that in the wild. They can scream at levels up to 105 decibels, which is quieter than siren for some reason. Amazons are exceptionally loud, but it is still very, very loud. It is above the threshold for hearing loss from prolonged exposure, so you wouldn't want to stand next to them while they're screaming for too long, because you will experience hearing loss, but it is just under the threshold for pain. They are monogamous. They travel in flocks. They mate for life, and they are capable of blushing. You might see a little bit of that today. That's a picture there that shows them blushing. It's just another way that they communicate with each other. They do it when they're excited. They do it when they're scared. You might see it today. You'd probably have to look pretty close. But pretty cute, pretty cool. This is a short video about why they eat clay in the wild. Has a lot of other parrots in it too.
Oh. And takes his chance.
Oh, they're so loud. Sorry. What up, Simply?
Time's up for the flocks of smaller parrots.
pretty neat. So they eat clay in the wild to help balance out their less than perfect diets to help them with digestion. So that's just like a short natural history of macaws. I didn't go too deep into it because I'm doing natural history on all the parrots, and their wild diet and behavior and all that ends up being pretty similar. So you guys have already learned about a lot of it if you've been to these animal quests before, at least the past 2 episodes. We're going to get into our first survey right now. Really quick, if you guys wouldn't mind, I would appreciate your help here. Please only participate in the survey if you are 18 or older. Before we have the macaws on screen, we'll run them pretty quick. Space. Pause, champ. All right. How likely are you to get a parrot as a pet? If you already have a parrot, please answer about the likelihood that you will get another parrot. You just type A, B, C, D, or E in the chat for what your answer is. Not at all likely, less likely, neutral, more likely, very likely to get a parrot as a pet or get another parrot as a pet if you already have one. 91% right now saying not at all likely. Cool. We'll do this exact same survey at the end of the stream too. I really appreciate your guys' help here. We're doing some important research. It means a lot. All right, cool. 78% A. Cool. Next question. Thank you so much. Please select all statements that apply to your reason for the response above. A, because I believe parrots make good pets. B, because I believe parrots are intelligent animals. C, because I believe most parrots are sold legally. D, because I believe parrots do not make good pets. E, because I believe most parrots are sold illegally. And this is statements that apply to your reason for the first answer that you gave to the first question. See a lot of people saying D here, some people saying E. It is interesting to see these answers change on the 3rd animal quest. I feel like they were different before. I have a Discord notification. All good, never mind. We're getting smart. Yeah, we're learning. All right, cool. 59% said D. Thank you very much. Next question. Your age range. This one shouldn't change from the first couple animal quests. Unless you had a birthday. Happy birthday. A, 18 to 27. B, 28 to 37. C, 38 to 47. D, 48 to 57. E, 58 plus. Lots of people in the A range. Some people in the B range. Some people in the C range. Couple people in the D range. If I'm under 18, what do I choose? If you're under 18, don't worry about participating in the survey. Only participate if you're over 18. It's on the screen. Thank you. Thank you for trying, though. All right, cool. 68%, 18 to 27-year-old, 25%, 28 to 37 is about what I expected. Cool. What if you're so old you don't remember your age? You're probably E. All right, your gender, A, B, C, female, male, non-binary. Oh, my Lord. That's a lot of B's. Okay. 76%, 77% male so far. Cool. You know what? 18% female. 4% non-binary, 5% non-binary. Just a couple dudes doing stuff in here. Cool. Yo. Just dudes being dudes. Okay. 70% male, 24% female, 6% non-binary. Very cool. Okay. I think we have 2 more. Your highest education level. You got high school, college, 2-year degree, college, 4-year degree, D, graduate degree. What you got? Highest education level. Cute rouse. How do you answer if you're in college? Your highest education level, if you're in college, would be high school. Unless you have an associate's, unless you have a 2-year degree. Make sense? This really confuses me as a Brit. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Okay, this one's a little more evenly dispersed. We got 36% high school, 20% college 2-year, 32% college 4-year, 13% graduate degree. Man, lots of graduate degrees. Okay. Either one or two more questions. Here we go. Last question, I think. Do you currently own any pets? If yes, what kind? So for this one, it is not a multiple choice. You'll just do #answer, and then you'll write what pets you have, what kind of pets you have. Just like Gandhi just did. Just like Stealthy just did. Thank you so much. Like that. Yep, you guys are killing it. Killing it. If you have a dog, you do #answer dog. So on and so forth. 2 dogs and a shrimp. Okay. Cool. Cool. Lots of dogs and cats. I've seen a couple African greys fly through here. Kind of crazy. Lots of cats. Lots of cats. We love cats around here. Kayla loves cats. Answers look weird when you see it so many times. I know, they don't look like words anymore, huh? All right. I think that'll do it. Perfect. Thank you so much for participating in the survey. Now we can let them free. Yeah. Kayla's gonna bring the parrots to this tree perch, and I'm gonna try not to get bit this whole stream.
Can you pick up that and just scoop them so they're a little bit clear of this wire?
Okay. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah. All right, hold on. She's ready. What a nice birdie. Oh, sorry. This is Miley. This is not Miley's episode. Miley's episode is next month. What are the Stompy plushies? Miley is a Catalina macaw that's a hybrid of scarlet macaws and blue and gold macaws. Here's the star of the show. That's Tico. Blushing. Can you guys see the blushing that we were talking about? I'm not going to zoom in because it's going to mess up everything. We were really struggling with the cameras earlier. Perfect. Thank you so much. Ooh, a little puffy. I can see. Good. Cool. Yeah, so they're a little bit nervous. The blushing happens, it's just a form of expression. So if they're really happy, if they're really nervous, if there's a lot going on, so they're blushing because there's a lot going on in here right now. And so they're just trying to sort all that out. But thank you guys so much for being here. Again, this episode is for Tico, who's the blue and gold macaw, the one with the yellow chest on the left here. But Miley's going to hang out because they are pair bonded. And I don't think they would do great if it was just Tico on the perch today. Imagine Tico takes a chomp out of Stompy. We'll see if she messes with those. She definitely can reach them, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. Tico's the one who's blue and gold. Exactly. You're on fire, folks. Okay, let's get into the... Sorry, I really... Now we can stall, okay? I rushed through the beginning of that presentation because I wanted to get them out of the crate and onto this perch. So I'm sorry for rushing through all that. It was pretty simple information, so now we can chill. And I want up. Thank you. I have pecans. Do you want a nut? Yeah. Here you go. Now everybody's happy and A-okay. They're eating pecans. Wow. ASMR, you hear that? Can you hear that? I can hear that. All right. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about... Look at them go. Happy parrots. They love nuts. They took it so gently. Yeah. They're pretty chill. Well, they're good birds. Yummy. Okay. Conservation. So, This is some repeat information here. I'm going to be honest, I did copy and paste this from Siren's presentation because I worked really hard to find this information. It's exactly what I want to tell you guys about, and it's the same thing. These birds, Tico does live in the Amazon rainforest in the wild, so we're going to talk about the Amazon again because I think it's really, really important. The Amazon is the world's largest rainforest. It is 6.7 million kilometers squared. That is twice the size of India, people. Twice the size of India. It houses 10% of the entire world's biodiversity. It is a very, very, very important place. It's massive. That being said, we have lost about 20% of it. Thank you. 20% of it during the last half century. And we've lost 20% because of deforestation and development and things like that. Deforestation, the Amazon releases up to 0.5 billion metric tons of carbon per year. That rainforest and other rainforests and oceans are all carbon sinks. They sequester carbon, which is really, really important to prevent global warming, to protect our atmosphere, and deforestation releases all of that carbon. And it's a massive problem. We watched this video on Siren's Animal Quest, but we're going to watch it again because I think it does a really good job, and it kind of shows you the scale of just how insane this destruction is.
Brazilian officials have told the BBC that there's been an aggressive increase in deforestation since the election of President Bolsonaro in January. An area of Amazon rainforest roughly the size of a football pitch is now being cleared every minute.
Every minute?
The rainforest, which plays a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate, covers an area 20 times the size of Britain. Nearly 2/3 of it is in Brazil. Crucially, it absorbs billions of tons of carbon dioxide every year and produces 20% of the oxygen in the atmosphere.
20%
In the first of a series of reports, our science editor David Shukman has been to see how decades of conservation efforts are being reversed.
The rich greens of the most vibrant habitat on Earth. The billions of trees store so much carbon they help to slow down global warming. They're also home to an amazing 1/10 of all species in the natural world. Some unnerving, others adorable.
I hate that part of the video.
But the sight of
They
bare
show like a
earth
spider
and
and
dead
then they show a
trunks is
monkey.
becoming more common, with huge
Spiders
tracts
are
of forest wiped
Also
out.
adorable.
My footsteps and distant bird song are the only sounds. It's tragic to see this close up. To bring these trees down to the ground, they just knocked them over with a bulldozer. This is happening all over the Amazon to create new farmland. And the result is that the great forest has never been under such pressure. Over the decades, field by field, many trees have made way for agriculture. But that's set to speed up because of a massive push for development. The new president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, was elected on a promise to exploit the Amazon. He's delighted his supporters by saying too much of the forest is protected. His environment officials are deeply worried, but he's banned them from saying anything in public. You're trying to save the forest. So we have to meet this official in secret. His face hidden and voice changed, he says the government is trying to cover up the loss of the forest.
Eles não querem que a gente fale porque nós vamos falar a verdade. Nós vamos falar que as unidades de conservação estão sendo invadidas e estão sendo destruídas. Há muitas pessoas fazendo marcações de lotes de propriedades rurais dentro de áreas que deveriam estar sendo protegidas. E os números de desmatamento aumentam, mas poderiam ser ainda maiores.
And the scale of the deforestation he describes is staggering. Up here, at the top of this 50-metre-high observation tower, the view is just phenomenal, out over what looks like a great ocean of green. This is the canopy of the largest rainforest in the world. The problem is that more and more of it is being chopped down. It's hard to believe, but an area the size of a football pitch is being cleared every single minute. What that means is that forest that could cover more than 2,000 pitches is just vanishing every day. And all the signs are that this rate of devastation will accelerate.
Dude.
Cattle are the biggest single reason the trees are cleared. They're grazing on land that used to be forest. Brazilian beef is in big demand all over the world. And the president's vision of expanding agriculture here has delighted the farmers, like Vanderlei Wegner, who says other countries cut their forest down long ago.
Nós temos que desenvolver a Amazônia, né? Porque vamos supor aqui na região do Baixo Amazonas, na região de
Tico's looking
Santarém,
at the stompy
vivem mais de
plushies.
4 milhões de pessoas. Então, se precisa ter um desenvolvimento também, é um direito constitucional.
Farming on an industrial scale has already reached the Amazon, but the government wants to see more of it. And to weaken the laws protecting the forest. We asked to interview 2 ministers about this, but they both refused. A line often heard here is that only Brazil can decide what to do with the forest, no one else. But the fact is, the more trees are cut down, the more we lose one of the few things holding back the rise in global temperatures. So what happens here in the coming years matters far beyond Brazil. David Schuckman, BBC News, in the Amazon.
So, scared me. I thought Tico was gone. I was like, where did she go? There she is. Hi. I wanted to play that video. Again, we watched it on Sirens, but I just think it gives a really good perspective as to the scale of this problem. These birds, when I say these birds, look, I'm going to be referring to Tico. Just forget that Miley's there, okay? I'm talking about Tico. Miley is not a naturally occurring species in the wild. She's a captive-bred hybrid bird. She is half Tico. So these birds. These birds live in the Amazon, and it is being absolutely decimated. So I wanted to highlight that. And another reason why these birds' populations are being decimated is because of the pet trade. Again, we talked about this with Siren as well. We talked about it with Mia, because this is why we have these birds as ambassadors at Alveus, mostly is to talk about habitat loss and talk about the pet trade, because parrots are heavily exploited and exported because people want them as pets. There are lots of reasons why you don't want them as pets, trust me. But we're going to run this poll here. Since the 1980s, how many parrots have been legally exported globally? Do you think it's 1 million, 12 million, 15 million, or 22 million? Keep in mind, this is the number of legally exported recorded birds globally, just for the pet trade. And the illegal pet trade is a much larger number than this. 22% saying 1 million, 30% saying 12 million, 32% saying 15 million, 14% saying 22 million. Good guesses, good guesses. It looks like you guys are about to get it right. Potsdam? Surprisingly even votes there. It's across the boards. 33% said 12 million. Congratulations, you are correct. 12 million birds have been legally exported globally since the 1980s. What about blue and gold macaws? For some reason, I always am close to saying blue and gold Amazons. There's not a thing. What about blue and gold macaws? Between 2000 and 2013, how many blue and gold macaws were exported out of South America? Just out of South America. About 22,000, about 35,000, about 43,000, or about 49,000. That's a baby blue and gold macaw, by the way. They're really cute and really blinky. Lots of people saying C, they think it's 43,000. Lots of people saying D at 49,000. While you guys are doing this poll, I can tell you a few reasons why you don't want them as pets. Shall we do that? Because I don't really have a section as to for misconceptions, because I've already talked about that. Like I said, they can scream at 105 decibels. Prolonged exposure to their screaming can cause not hearing damage, but hearing loss. So they're extremely loud. The threshold for pain, I think, is about 125 decibels. So they're just in between prolonged exposure for hearing loss and pain from it being so loud. I've had these macaws in my house with me before when they were in this transitional period. You don't want them in your house, trust me. 49,000 blue and gold macaws exported out of South America between 2000 and 2013. So you guys were very close. Lots of you did say D. These birds are extremely, extremely loud. They can bite extremely hard. They can tear through wood. They can tear through your couches, and they will. They are pretty destructive inside because they're not really meant to be inside. You guys have probably seen, if you've watched my keeping streams, the aviary, the wood is all just like, I'm sorry, I don't know why my sound is on. The wood is just destroyed. They'll chew through doors. We had a big hyacinth macaw. That's that all blue one with the yellow around their eyes. We had a hyacinth macaw at the zoo who they put in a room, got himself out of the cage, and chewed around a doorknob, knocked the doorknob out, climbed through the hole in the door that he chewed through, and made a giant nest out of their brand new couch. He chewed up the whole couch, got all the stuffing everywhere, and was sitting in it. They are unstoppable. They're very hard to... They can break fingers. They will absolutely break skin in biting. I don't remember what the bite force is, but it is pretty severe. You do not want to get bit by one of these birds. It is not like a ouch. It is like a hospital visit, and not just a ruined day, but probably like a ruined week or couple weeks. So they can bite really hard, and they're really, really loud. Those are the big reasons that you probably don't want one in your home. Tico, at her last home, was kept inside at night, in cages at night, and Michelle, who's Tico's old owner, would wake up in the morning and all of the parrots would be moved, or all of the parrots would be in different cages in the morning, like different cages from where she put them the night before. So she put a camera in the bird room at night. Tico was picking the lock on her cage. It wasn't really a lock, but like opening the latch on her cage, getting out of the cage, going around to all the other parrot cages, opening them, herding the birds out into different cages and herding the other birds in, closing their cages, and then going back in her cage and going to bed. They do lots of things to entertain themselves. They're so smart. So they just need a ton of stimulation. They need a ton of attention. They need a ton of time. They're as smart as like a 2 or 3 year old kid. Some people say African greys are as smart as a 5-year-old child, but they live 80 years. So it's like having a toddler in their terrible twos that can bite way harder and scream way louder for 80 years. It is quite a commitment. Tico also is flighted and flew away from Michelle's house a couple times, and they were unable to get her back until Tico decided to come back. And luckily she did come back a few times, but they're really hard to contain. So that's my little spiel on them as pets. What does the pet trade mean for parrots? That upper right picture, the really cute blue birds, those are Spix's macaws, went extinct in the wild in 2020. Very, very recently. They went extinct to overpoaching for the pet trade. People really wanted them because they are so cute. There is now a very small population in captivity. They're trying to repopulate them, but they are extinct in the wild. There are none of these birds that exist in the wild anymore. So actually, they tried to do a reintroduction project. I don't know a ton about this, but they tried to do a reintroduction project and released 2 of them, and one of them died via power line, which is so unlucky and so unfortunate. Also human caused though, which sucks. We run into a lot of these problems where we breed animals in captivity. After they've gone extinct in the wild, you try to release them into the wild and there's no suitable habitat. So that's what's happened with the Spix's macaws, mostly because of the pet trade. Interpol values the illegal animal trade as a $10 billion industry. In other words, it's not going anywhere. It makes people way too much money. Those hyacinth macaws, the one that chewed around the doorknob that I was telling you about, big blue parrots, those can go for 10 grand. They make people a lot of money. The breeding, the taking eggs from the wild, taking babies from the wild, it ends up being worth it for those sellers because they're so expensive. Also, Spix's macaws got really popular in the pet trade. This part sucks. Got really popular in the pet trade because people want things that are rare. So they'll overpoach them out of the wild, and then they become really rare, and then more people want them because it's cool, because there aren't many that exist. This is what happens in traditional medicine as well. Animals that are endangered, animals that are rare, they think are more valuable because there are less of them. So it's a pretty unfortunate slope for those species that are considered exotic and rare and all that. Audubon estimates more than 75% of captured parrots die before reaching a purchaser at all. So another problem with the illegal pet trade and the capture of baby parrots and the capture of eggs and stuff like that is it's an illegal underground trade, so there's not safe transport for these birds. A lot of them don't even make it to a cellar, right? They cut down trees to get to the nests. A lot of those birds die in the process. A lot of adults die in the process. There are lots of stories you can find online of people being stopped in customs. They have eggs taped to their bodies trying to incubate them as they're traveling across the border. And you can't incubate eggs like that. We don't produce enough heat, so all those eggs become not viable. 75% is a wild number, an absolutely wild number, and super, super sad. Nearly half of all parrot species are in decline. Habitat loss, pet trade, right? But a third of parrot species are listed as threatened because of the reasons that I've been talking about today. Those are some pictures of a bunch of different types of parrots. Parrots is a big umbrella term, right? We have these guys, big parrots, macaws. We have medium-sized birds, your Amazons, your African greys, and then you have your little guys, your cockatiels, your parakeets, stuff like that. It's just a big umbrella term for all of it, but they're so beautiful and they're so cool and they can talk and they can dance and people just want them as pets and people are attracted to them for that reason. So that's a little bit about the pet trade and how it affects our birds, how it affects Tico's wild counterparts. There's a wild Tico in that picture too. An interesting thing about that picture, I think we've talked about this before. I feel like you see these parrots. I'm 100% also. It's not like your fault. But we see these birds and I immediately think pet, right? Like I see these birds, I do not think about, like if I see a tiger in captivity, I think of a tiger in the wild. I don't think of it as like a domestic animal. But parrots, because they're so exploited in the pet trade, you see a parrot and you're like, oh, it's a pet bird. But this bird, Tico, is the exact same as this bird in the wild. It's not a domesticated species. It is a wild bird. So that is insane. With the percentage of birds that come from the wild originally, I wish that they were swapped. How's that? A little better? Hi. They're mad. Really mad. But yeah, we never think about these birds in the wild, but Tico is a blue and gold macaw naturally existing. If, Tico could breed with any of those birds in the wild because they're not that far removed. I was saying with the amount of parrots, that's an aggressive behavior, or like a not aggressive behavior. Kayla's better at this kind of thing than me. But that head thing is match. Tico very well could be a wild-caught bird. We don't know. Michelle thinks that Mia might be a wild-caught bird. I don't know. We don't know because we don't know enough of their history. But they're very, very close to these wild birds, closer than we think when we look at them. So that's a little bit about the pet trade. Blue and gold macaws with the pet trade have a pretty direct connection as well. Blue and gold macaws went extinct in Trinidad in the 1960s because of overpoaching for the pet trade and habitat alteration. This is something that has been happening to these birds that we're talking about today. In 1993, the Center for the Rescue of Endangered Species of Trinidad and the Cincinnati Zoo embarked on a restoration project. So they released 18 birds into the wild. In 2001, they were still observing 9 of those birds. 50% decrease, and that's because you can breed them in captivity and then you release them back into the wild where their habitat is already ruined, and it's really hard for them to make it. But this is a video on that restoration project in Trinidad. I wanted to include this just to show you guys that it's like a very real problem, and they've already gone extinct in the wild in some places, and it'll happen in others if all this continues.
Trinidad faces a lot of issues with wildlife trafficking. The blue and gold macaw is one of the most trafficked species. our local population, they were wiped out, and they reintroduced 31 blue and gold macaws into Nariva swamp to help the population. In order to capture the young macaws for the pet trade, the trees are cut down, habitat is destroyed, and also the adult macaws are sometimes killed in the process. To reduce wildlife trafficking, our team is focusing on assisting border control and frontline officers in detecting trafficking. Observing the birds in the wild can be the best solution to reduce wildlife trafficking, since we can enjoy the beauty of these animals in their natural habitat while preserving them for future generations.
Tico. How could you kill that? Dude, I've heard the gnarliest stories. The zoo that I used to work at in college used to get a bunch of parrots from the pet trade. The confiscation stories for the illegal pet trade, now I'm going on a tangent a little bit. The first ball python we got was transported in airports. A bunch of them were stuffed into PVC pipe and transported via cargo. There were hundreds of baby ball pythons stuffed into PVC pipes, a bunch of them dead, and that was confiscated by California Fish and Wildlife because snakes are super heavily traded, heavily exported. People don't even know that they're buying wild-caught baby snakes from Africa, but they are. I've heard stories about baby birds being transported in hubcaps on cars going across borders. So they shove, I know it's an aggressive word, but they like pack all the baby birds into hubcaps, cover it, and then drive across the border trying to get baby birds places. Because again, these birds, if it's the macaws can go for thousands of dollars as adults. If you can get them to adulthood and sell them, you make thousands of dollars off of them, and they end up losing a lot, but it costs them nothing to take them out of the wild. So it's a super, super unfortunate industry, and that is something that has affected blue and gold macaws. So I know it's just like so depressing. I told you guys, man, I'm sorry. I told you guys this is a really sad one. Coming from transportation was water bottles and toilet paper rolls. Yeah. There was an armadillo at the zoo. Also, love San Diego Zoo, by the way. There was an armadillo at the zoo that I worked at in college that was packed in a bowling ball bag. It was a 3-banded armadillo, so they can fully roll, or they can fully go in a ball, and it was packed in a bowling ball bag and brought through the airport. Palm oil. Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry, this is like so much heavy stuff and so much. I was waiting for Tico to do the conservation stuff. I wanted to do, with the parrots, Siren was just like a umbrella like introduction, like this is why we have the parrots. Mia, I wanted to focus mostly on intelligence because they've done so many studies with African greys and speech and how intelligent they are. I want to talk about wild threats with Tico, and then with Miley I want to talk about captive breeding and hybridization because she is a hybrid and stuff like that. So this one is the sad one, and I'm sorry, but it is really interesting and it's really important to learn. It gets more sad here because we're going to talk about palm oil. I haven't talked about palm oil on my stream in quite a while. It's a tough thing to learn about because it is such a massive problem and there's so little to be done, but I'm going to tell you as much as you can do. Okay, I'm going to give you the best advice that I have, but it is a really tough issue. So palm oil is the world's most traded and consumed vegetable oil. It goes under lots and lots of names. Between 1980 and 2014, the global palm oil production increased by a factor of 15. So 4.5 million tons to 70 million tons from 1980 to 2014. The demand is going up exponentially. And it's expected to grow at 1.7% per year until 2050. Global palm oil already affects 193 species. This graphic, I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty small. I don't have my glasses on, I can't read it. But it is from RSPO, the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil. 193 critically endangered, and vulnerable species have palm oil production as one of their main threats. 193 critically endangered, and vulnerable species are being heavily affected by palm oil. I'll talk about one of those species today, one of them that's the worst off. But palm oil is in everything, you guys. When I say everything, we're going to watch a video, but I mean it's in everything that you buy. It's in cosmetics, it's in detergent, it's in fuel, it's in chocolate, it's in toothpaste, it's in crackers, it's in all your packaged product, like everything that you buy. So we'll watch a video here, and they'll tell you a little bit more about it. Can you imagine I got banned for that? I don't know why. I was literally just thinking
you're not familiar
imagine.
with it, even though you'll find it in many of the products you use every day. It's in everything, from makeup and toothpaste to donuts, chocolate bars, and in some countries, biodiesel fuel. It goes by many names, but it's most commonly known as palm oil.
Did you see all
Global
those
consumption
names?
of palm oil has quintupled since 1990. Oil derived from the palm fruit is easy to extract, has a higher yield than other types of vegetable oils, and can be used in dozens of products. But the proliferation of palm oil also poses a massive environmental threat. Each year, palm oil plantations destroy millions of acres of forested land, create billions of tons of carbon pollution, and kill endangered wildlife.
Oof.
All of this makes the palm oil industry one of the worst environmental offenders on the planet. In 2015, over 62,000 square miles around the world, much of it former forests, were committed to palm oil plantations. That's an area 4 times the size of Switzerland. Palm oil is one of the top 3 drivers of deforestation in Indonesia, a country that supplies more than half of global demand. Each year in Indonesia, fires are set to clear forested lands to make way for palm oil production. Just last year, over 10,000 square miles were torched, creating fires so big they could be seen from outer space. All of this unleashes massive amounts of carbon into the air. Fires in 2015 added more than 2 billion tons of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The burning of forests to clear land for plantations threatens the 10,000 square mile Luso ecosystem in Sumatra, the largest intact swath of rainforest in Southeast Asia. It's
Why
home to
burn it?
hundreds of unique
I'll answer that in a
species and is
second.
the only place left in the world where orangutans, rhinos, tigers, bears, and elephants live side by side. But their home is disappearing around them. The Sumatran tiger and the Sumatran rhino are threatened with extinction. Only a few hundred of each species exist in the wild,
Am I
and their
dropping
habitats
frames?
are often in the path of land clearing. In Borneo, there has been a 50% decrease in orangutan populations in the past 65 years. This is a direct result of the forest fires and conversion of woodlands for palm oil cultivation. Alongside logging and mining, land clearing for agriculture is currently one of the leading causes of
Oh, I
deforestation.
hate these satellite images, man.
If consumers don't demand more sustainable practices soon, the products we buy can and will contribute to the loss of the world's rainforests. You can help by purchasing products that do not contain palm oil, or if they do, were made sustainably. Go to takepart.com/palm oil for more
For the record,
information.
I tried to follow that link, and that website, I don't think exists, or it didn't work for me. Maybe it was just down. But that video is really important to show. I am going to show you a different website that is fantastic. The Amazon thing is really sad. The palm oil thing is a whole other story. And it's sad because the scale is so massive, and it's in everything, and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows that it's a problem. I'm happy there are solutions. What does it mean sustainably grow palm oil? We're going to talk about that in a second. Also, somebody asked during the video, why burn? So they have to clear cut these forests and burn them down to get rid of all the trees and plants so that they can plant palm oil orchards, essentially. So they're palm oil plantations. And then a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, they cut down the trees and then they put up new trees. So like net zero. Absolutely not. So when they reduce the plant diversity down to just palm oil, there are very few species that can survive in that environment because it's an ecosystem before, right? Everything depends on the diversity. And then they just put palm oil trees there. It doesn't work for a bunch of species. Let's talk about one of those species now. So like I said in that video, this is an image of Borneo. 50%, at least 50% of the deforestation that's happened in Borneo between 2005 and 2015 was related to palm oil development. Palm oil plantations currently occupy 20 million hectares of land. A hectare is, that is, okay. Each year, 1 million additional hectares of forest is destroyed for plantations. That is over 2 million football fields a year of forest is destroyed for plantations. That gives you a scale of how insane this is and how large of a problem this is. Species at risk. Bornean orangutans only live in Borneo. Each year, about 750 to 1,250 out of the existing 75,000 to 100,000 existing Bornean orangutans are killed due to conflict relating to palm oil development. You do that math, this species is not going to last long because of palm oil. Palm oil is the problem here. Over 50% of the deforestation that's happening, they're dying because of habitat loss, is because of palm oil, is because it is in everything. It's in all of our products. And so we are losing species. This is just a really severe example. Another really severe example is the rhinos that they were talking about. I'm pretty sure Sumatran rhinos, there's like very few left in the wild. I mean, like, someone looked this up, but I think it's like, it's definitely under 50. It might be under 10. Like, there's like none. 275. Oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Very few left in the wild. I didn't do research on that one. I just did research on the orangutans. But lots of examples of species that are super, super at risk because of palm oil. What do we do? Okay, so it's a big problem. Google says about 80. Okay. Well, in 2004, the World Wildlife Fund, do y'all know World Wildlife Fund, the panda logo? Will the oil be replaced with alternatives or avoided entirely? So that won't work either, unfortunately. So that's the first idea, right? Is like, oh, we gotta cut off palm oil, boycott palm oil, stop using palm oil. It doesn't work like that because palm oil has such a high yield. It's a super efficient crop for oil. We need oil to produce a lot of products. And switching to different oils would just mean we have to cut down more land for more plants to yield the same amount of oil. So even though it's ruining everything, palm oil is probably the most efficient oil that we can be consuming. We just consume way too much of it. So it's not like we can just switch to corn oil or avocado oil or anything like that. We would just have to cut down way more forest for that to happen. But there are more sustainable ways to produce palm oil. So World Wildlife Fund in 2004 created the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, the RSPO. RSPO is fantastic. It has over 3,000 members. The members are across the boards, everybody that is involved in the production of palm oil. So your farmers, your manufacturers, NGOs, members of World Wildlife Fund, advocates for wildlife conservation, just a bunch of people on this roundtable. They meet once a year. They meet once every 5 years and go over the certification requirements to have more sustainable palm oil. And they created a certification for certified sustainable palm oil. That's that label you see, or that logo label thing you see in the top right there. It's a pretty comprehensive label because there are so many people at this roundtable representing different parts of the industry. So that label means fair working conditions. It means local people's lands and rights are protected. It means there's no clearing of primary forests. It means wildlife on the plantations is protected. It means greenhouse gas emissions are capped. It means industrial pollution is capped. And over 20% of palm oil land, that's over 4.5 million hectares, is now certified thanks to RSPO. So that is a fantastic start. There's a picture of an instant noodle that has the certification on it. Here's the problem. I've done lots of research on palm oil. I've known about palm oil for years. I have never seen this label. on my products, and I've looked for it. I've never seen it on a product. Have any of you ever seen this label? I have. Sick. No. Also, we don't really look at our food labels, right? But I've never seen it in store, and I wish that I wish I saw it everywhere. But it's a hard certification to get, because they can only get it if their entire supply chain is sustainable, because the entire supply chain uses palm oil everywhere, because it's in everything. So it's a really, really hard one to get. A bunch of these products. Look at me making a space for my camera. These products are, and there's a brand in there too, are ones that do really well with palm oil. Maybe it's just on bottles of palm oil. No, it's on products. It's just really hard to find. These are some products that do really well, but it is really, really hard to find that label. It would be the ideal. Here's the next closest thing to ideal. All right. This is World Wildlife Fund has created this website, and it is a palm oil buyer's scorecard. So, top right cam. It is a scorecard for a bunch of different companies and how they do in regards to using sustainable palm oil. This is assuming we can't find that label, and I'm just assuming that you guys can't find that label. But we can use this website. So it gives them a ranking. All of these numbers, if you want to look at them, right, it has commitments out of 4, it has sustainable palm oil purchasing, so supply chain here, supplier accountability, going way back, sustainability platforms, and then on the ground action. They get a number ranking out of 4, out of 2, out of 3, out of, whatever. But the important number is this total score, and they make it super easy because they give you a key up here. And you want to just kind of stay in the green, right? This section is leading the way. This is well on the way, middle of the pack, not, what does that say? Lagging behind, and non-respondent. So you can click this scorecard, and if you want to see how the company that you're buying from is doing, you can just type it in, and it'll give you a score. So it'll tell you how good they're doing. I think the best thing here, if you care about something like this, if you want to be a part of it, the thing about palm oil, the reason that the industry has expanded so much is because of the demand, right? This is simple economics. Are you going to stop buying palm oil altogether? Absolutely not. None of us. Literally none of us. It's in everything. You can spam link it, space, if you want. But check this out. Ouch. 3 out of 24. Tough. Give me some other brands. I'll search other brands, and we can do this. So there are brands that are really, really bad. And so I don't know if I think Oreo is probably under something, right? Is it Coca-Cola? Oh, it's not in here. So 15.2 for this one. I actually looked these up before. Hershey's is doing better. Nabisco. Ferrero, actually, funny that you bring that up, is doing fantastic. Ferrero they have a whole statement on their website about sustainability and palm oil. I looked on their website yesterday. They have this whole section about how they're making changes to go to sustainable palm oil. Not like the cars, the chocolates. Ferrero Rocher, the little they have other products too. But if you're going to buy people chocolates, this is probably the way to go if this is something that you care about. I put IKEA on there. IKEA is also doing really well. I guess it's from the food that they sell at IKEA. I don't really know. Pepsi, pretty solid, which is shocking. No offense, Pepsi. Wendy's. Oh no. Oh no. Help. F11. Ah! Space is doing it. Thank you. Wendy's. Oh no. Starbucks? What the heck? Subway. Chipotle's not in here either. Huh. Target? It's not so bad. I don't think they'll have Chick-fil-A or Whole Foods. Whole Foods, no score. Oof. Ouchie. Anyway, okay, you guys get the idea, right? So my move, it's so hard, man. I wish there's more to be done, but my move is just to kind of, I've surfed this website quite a few times and just get like an idea in my head of like, I'll compare, what I'll do is like compare two pretty much interchangeable things, right? You're talking like, these are just examples, not for the website, but like Apple and Android and like Wendy's and McDonald's and Target and Walmart, right? And then I just kind of pick one the same way. I do that with a lot of brands for other things too. I mean, you go like Lowe's, Home Depot, and just like company values and stuff like that. And I'll always go Lowe's, that kind of thing. So I think that's the best start to use your, why are all these brands so not good? Yeah, it's tough. Because they don't care, because there's no reason for them to care, because consumers don't care right now, right? There's no reason for them to change and work way harder to get sustainable palm oil and spend more money on sustainable palm oil, because consumers don't know. It makes no difference to them. They're still going to buy their products. So the thought is that if consumers care, if they start making choices based on companies that are using sustainable palm oil, then more companies will be like, oh, they care about this now, so we have to do this now so we can sell more. You understand? Insert quote about people who care about what they know about. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, spam that website if you would. I would appreciate that. You can find some really good information on there. It's a fantastic resource. It's the best resource that I've found for sustainable palm oil, or for figuring out what companies use sustainable palm oil. We should all do as much as we can, without a doubt. That is the best, most realistic option I have for you, because I'm not going to tell you, like, yeah, guys, like, book a trip to the Amazon and chain yourself to a tree, right? Like, I know that we're all normal people here, and I think that with this many people that we're talking to, also having this conversation on this scale, it is pretty powerful. It's a lot of consumers, you know, and a lot of consumers that can tell their friends, you know, tell people that they know. So it's a powerful thing. I think that that's the best advice that I have for you in regards to palm oil. Just knowing about it in the first place is really important. So pressure for legislation is always good. Yeah, always. Sending letters and stuff like that. Also sending letters to corporations. But to be honest, the bigger the corporation is, the less they're going to care about your letter, which sucks. Whose leg is that? Why do you guys always freak out when I do this with my leg? I'm just resting my leg like a flamingo. My leg hurts. Did you chop your leg off? No. I do that too? Okay, well, whatever. Because your ankle. What do you mean? What's Tico doing right now? Hanging out. She's hanging out. This is her episode. All right. Well, that is the resource that I have for you for palm oil. That's what's going on. Palm oil plantations are severely affecting Tico's natural habitat. Obviously, that's what I'm talking about, it, right? But yeah, it is a big, big problem. Recommendations. Carefully consider parrots as your choice of pet, going back to the pet trade conversation. Do you really want a parrot? And if you do want a parrot, source your pet responsibly. Note that it is a very long commitment, a lifetime commitment probably at our age. And make sure that you're not getting a wild-caught bird. Make sure that you're getting a captive-bred parrot. Reduce your consumption of single-use products. Purchase products made from recycled materials. This is all getting rid of virgin plastics and virgin materials so that we have to cut down less forests. The more we use recycled materials, the less we have to cut down less we have to cut down primary forests for new products. Recycle, same thing. I meant to put on here employer consumer choice when it comes to palm oil and stuff like that. And ideally show brands that you care about the sustainability in their supply chain. You care about the sustainability of their product. You care about sustainable palm oil. There's a lot of power in consumer choice. I mean, a lot of power in consumer choice. Look at the, I used to have the impression, like when my friends were vegetarian, right? A lot of people say it doesn't matter, people are going to eat meat anyway, you know? But then vegetarianism and veganism became very popular in the past 5 years. And look at the market for meat alternatives now. Look at the market for almond milk now. Milk alternatives now. It is a very, very real thing. When there are social movements like that, when there's a big change like that, the markets change. So don't think that you have no power. I realize you're one person, but there are shifts that can be made with just what you buy. It is very, very important. Almond milk is a whole nother conversation, but you know what I mean. You get the point. So yeah, and then spread the word. Again, like I was just saying with consumer choice, all of you have your own consumer choice, and you can tell people about palm oil, and you can say, like, there's over 2 million football fields that are being destroyed every year for palm oil. We're going to lose orangutans within the next 100 years. And it's because of palm oil. And you can use this website, or you can do this, you know. Survey number 2. Please participate in the survey if you're 18 or older. It is the same questions. We'll run it back. Run through it. Ready. This episode made me feel sad. I'm really sorry. I warned you. It was a sad one. Are we not supposed to eat? That's not what I said at all. It's a really weird takeaway from this whole presentation. Oof, mine are here. That's all right. You can chill and smile. I will say a really good environmental choice for a dietary environmental choice that I don't hear people talk about often enough is eating whole foods. Like eating less processed, less packaged foods is just so much better for the environment. It takes out all that supply chain stuff. It takes like the fuel away from the transport and the plastics and the pollutants that come, or the emissions that come from the factories that make those foods. Yeah, buying like locally and buying more whole foods. That's more expensive, both money and time, Maya. What, Whole Foods? I guess it's more time. You have to like cook things. But healthy food, yeah, there are a lot of cheap, unhealthy food alternatives. But you do what you can. But leave it to Bernie to have a problem with literally anything that I say. I'm not talking about the store Whole Foods. Was that did I confuse you? I mean like non-processed foods. This is not a Whole Foods ad. I don't care about Whole Foods. Sorry. Next question, sorry. Cool. 90% not at all likely. Next. Next. Please select all statements that apply to your reason for the response above. A, because I believe parrots make good pets. B, because I believe parrots are intelligent. C, because I believe most parrots are sold legally. D, because I believe parrots do not make good pets. Or E, because I believe most parrots are sold illegally. Yes, a lot of you demonstrating you can put 2 answers, I believe. Space, tell me if I'm wrong. You can put multiple answers if you would like to. Big wings. Big wings. Big wings, big stretch. Yay. Pretty bird. All right. 58% said D. Nice. Next question. Next. Hi, Miley. Your age range. A, 18 to 27. B, 28 to 37. C, 38 to 47. D, 48 to 57. Poopy. E, 58 plus. Again, only participate in the survey if you're over 18, please. I'm 9. Then you're going to have to sit back and smile, brother. Pet the birds at the same time, Maya? No. I turned 28 today, so now I'm in the boomer category. Happy birthday! Why only 18 plus? We are participating in a research study. All right, 69%, 18 to 27. Good stuff, good stuff. About conservation education, which is very exciting. Your gender, A, female, B, male, C, non-binary. How old are you? I am 24. Do you think I was talking too fast this presentation? Sometimes I stop myself and I was like, whoa, I'm talking like that. No? Oh, okay. Cool. 75% male, 20% female. Next question. 5% non-binary. Highest education level. A, high school. B, college 2-year degree. C, college 4-year degree. D, graduate degree. If you're in college, your highest education level is going to be high school because you don't have the degree yet. I really gotta pee. Not that that's relevant right now, but I've had to pee since I started this presentation. Why didn't you pee beforehand? I did right before. Crazy, huh? Stop drinking water, but I've been talking so much. You know, I learned 40% high school. Thank you very much. Next question. This is the last question. Do you currently own any pets? If yes, what kinds? You do hashtag answer followed by your answer. Someone will demonstrate. Follow the example of Stealthy. Stealthy Doge. Follow the example of Jaded, of Demon, of Sam, of Pig. You guys get it. Y'all get it. You're doing fine. In college, in my public speaking class, I learned that you have to have water when you're giving presentations because your parasympathetic nervous system stops going when you're like thinking really hard or stressed about speaking. So you stop salivating. It like pauses so that your brain can work harder. So you have to like fix your mouth. Same thing when you're working horses, or when you're training horses, they'll go and they'll think for a really long time, and then when they get something and you give them a break, they'll lick and chew, or they'll like go like, because their parasympathetic nervous system starts working again, so they start salivating again. That's how you know you're doing a good job training. Same deal. All right, that's the end of the poll. Cool. Last thing is our Q&A. I'll answer a few questions here. With Tico, you do hashtag ask followed by your question to ask your questions. Space, if you could pull it up, that would be excellent. And I will grab questions from this monitor. I would like... Can you drag that onto the turned around monitor, the desk monitor? Perhaps? Yeah. Oh, tiny. Okay. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is perfect. Space, you're a legend. Okay. All right. Here we go. Shrez asked, it didn't work. Hold on. Shrez asked, do you think we'll ever get to see Tico fly? I think so. Yeah, we want to do some flight training in the training center, our big 50 by 30 foot building down there. Tico has flown before. She knows how to fly. We are nervous, though, about training the macaws to fly because we only handle them with a stick right now. And if I tried to like put my hand out here to hold one of them, I would get bit 100%. So the idea of them being in really good shape and flighted and that mobile is kind of scary. But it would be really good for them, for their welfare. So I would like for that to happen. But yeah, we will see. Okay, this question, I'm not going to be able to answer this well because I'm not a scientist. Why can parrots mimic human speech? What benefit does it provide them in the wild? So in the wild, they're just super, super social creatures and they're super intelligent. There is something about their voice box that allows them to produce a variety of sounds without having to use their lips to make sounds. There was a really, really good video that we watched on Mia's Animal Quest. If you want to go back and look at that, or you can YouTube, I think it was a Vox video of why can parrots talk. They talk about their voice box and they talk about their like trachea and how it's shaped to like it contracts and expands to make sounds, because we make sounds with our lips too. You know, like we need lips to make like a P sound and stuff like that, but they obviously just have a beak that they can open and close. They just have the remarkable ability to do that. Thank you, Space. Space linked that video if you want to watch it. It's a good video. It's really interesting. But the end of the line is they're just really social animals, and they flock together. And when we have parrots in captivity, they bond with people, and they want to be social with people, and they recognize speech as a way to be social. And because they're capable of mimicking it, they will, as just a form of communication. Do these macaws fly around the sanctuary, or do they mostly chill inside? So these macaws do not live inside. They live outside. They have a 20 foot by 20 foot by 18 foot high aviary. They have indoor space in there and an outdoor space. They have big perch trees like this, but much, much larger. And 4 parrots live in that enclosure. You can find it on Keeping Streams or in my VODs. Natural predator. Do macaws have any natural predators in the wild? Anish, yeah. So eagles, falcons are going to be your biggest ones. I think for eggs, before they're hatched out, snakes, stuff like that. But yeah, harpy eagles, peregrine falcons are probably the biggest ones. Ooh, this is, I don't know the answer to this. Why I'm picking the questions. But there are a lot. There are a lot of macaws. There's lots of different colors, lots of different sizes. Tico's a blue and gold. We have Miley, who's a Catalina, which is a hybrid between a blue and gold and a scarlet macaw. So then we have scarlet macaws. We have hyacinth macaws, the biggest. It's a huge blue bird with yellow around its eyes. There are, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. There's really small macaws. Oh, you're kidding. There's military macaws that are about this size, but they're green. 19 species of macaw, not Spix. It's the really little one. I think it starts with an H. Green-winged macaws. There are blue-throated macaws. Hans macaw, thank you so much. Yes, Hans macaws. Really little guys. They're like this big. So lots of, yeah. Quick Google search says 19 different species, but there's a huge variety. Unkindness. How old are they? We don't know. Unfortunately, I said that at the beginning of the stream. These are rescue birds. All of our parrots are rescues. We don't know their history. We don't know how many owners they have. All we know is that we got them when they were adults. But they can live up to 80 years in captivity. So these birds could be, both of these birds, they could be 10 years old or they could be 40 years old. They could be 50 years old. We don't know. Because the last information we have is from their last owner who had them for a number of years but got them as adults. So I don't know. They could be older than me. Okay. This question it's not the question sucks, but the answer sucks. How do I know a pet bird I want to get wasn't illegally captured? So I would like to tell you that if they're banded, you're safe. But I read an article the other day. I read this whole paper the other day. They're slipping leg bands on baby wild-caught birds now. There was this big cockatoo breeder who has papers on all the birds, so that's how people were buying, and they were like, oh, okay, this is a captive bred bird because it came with papers, and you can see the whole bloodline, right? They pulled feathers of those birds and did DNA tests and found that 4 of the grandparents and parents of the paperwork of one of the birds that he was selling for like 10 grand were not, in fact, part of his bloodline at all. So the guy was fine, but he can still sell birds. So it is really just like, it's really hard to tell. Here's what I will say. I don't recommend parrots as pets. If you have to get a parrot as a pet, if you're really attached to the idea of getting a bird, you can get like a parakeet, you can get a cockatiel. Cockatiel is my -- recommendation if you're going to get a small parrot. The other thing, if you want to get a bird as a pet, the safest, most ethical way to do it is to rescue a bird, adopt a bird. Right? Don't buy one that's a baby or don't buy one off a breeder because they could be wild caught or they could have parents that are wild caught, etc. At least if you're rescuing a bird, it's a bird that needs a home already. So even if it was wild caught, it is now in captivity. It is not a releasable bird and it needs a home. That being said, adopted birds, rescued birds come with a lot of baggage. They're very smart. I've had birds that can't be around people that are wearing hats. I've had birds that hate being around men. They'll come with a lot of baggage and it'll be really hard. So there's not a great like win-win to purchasing a bird as a pet or to having a bird as a pet. Don't buy from pet stores. I'll tell you that. I would not recommend like Petco or PetSmart or Pet Club or anything like that if you're gonna buy a bird. Let's see. More questions. This answer is going to be, Mick, this answer is going to be different for everybody that has birds. For me, it's the biting, I think. But for other people, it might be the destruction. It might be like them chewing through wood and door frames and stuff like that. For other people, it might be how loud they are, and they never stop screaming. I don't know, but for me, it's the biting, I think. Was Tico able to be pet with her last owner? Yes. Michelle used to be able to cuddle Tico and hold Tico, and they were very close. Then Tico got pair bonded to Miley, and she was no longer able to handle her. That was a hard decision, I think, for Michelle to make, is the welfare of this bird, because she could be with Miley 24 hours a day, whereas when she was bonded to Michelle, she got like a few hours a day with her and otherwise was all alone. And so she kind of sacrificed her relationship with Tico so that Tico could be with Miley all the time. But now Tico's very protective of Miley, and they get really hormonal, and it's hard to interact with them. Good question. How do you sex these birds? Close question. How do you sex these birds? You cannot tell by the way that they look or by how much they weigh. You can guess, but you have to do a blood test. And we did blood tests with these parrots to find out that they're both female. Good question. Diz, why do macaws pair bond? These are monogamous birds. So they will pair bond in the wild, and they will have the same mate their whole life. Will we see more behind the scenes Alveus streams? Absolutely. We stream on the Alveus channel pretty often. We were live on Alveus last night until like 10:15 p.m. resetting up the studio, so that it'd be ready for today. It helps that these are some of the most aesthetically beautiful ambassadors we have, but like shouts out to Connor. Look at this set. The studio looks so good right now. I'm pretty stoked about it. Connor's been really like kicking himself for setting it up and making it look nice, but we now have the monitors hanging from the ceiling. The lights are hanging from the ceiling. We have our new shelves for plushies. The Stompy edition was gold. Yeah, I really like the product placement. They're killing it. All right. Is Tico a boss lady bird? Yeah, absolutely. Are they endangered? This bird closest to me is not naturally occurring. She's bred in captivity, so no, doesn't have a IUCN status. This bird, Tico, is of least concern currently, but populations are declining, so no, they're not endangered. I studied agriculture in college, agricultural education and communications. A classic. What's your best advice for someone who wants to do what you do? Volunteering and getting internships is my biggest advice. The degree is great. If you're going to get a degree in biology or ecology, fantastic. That would help quite a bit. Kayla and Connor both have degrees in biology. Ella is working on a degree in wildlife biology. So fantastic for getting a job. But I have a degree in agriculture. It's just about my experience in the field, my experience in exotics. But if you can't get a job at a zoo or you can't volunteer at a zoo, try a wildlife rehab center. If you can't do a wildlife rehab center, try a dog shelter, cat shelter, therapeutic horseback riding facility. Any experience with animals is where you need to start, and then you climb the ladder. My goal for Tico is... I've never really thought about that, actually. My goal for Tico, I would love for Tico to be flighted and to be in really good shape physically. I want for her to be the least stressed possible. I just want her to be really happy and content. My goals for Tico have very little with how much we're able to handle her. While I would love to be able to hold Tico on my arm and to allow the people that work here to hold Tico and handle Tico, if that doesn't contribute to her welfare, I truly don't care about us being able to touch her. Because she's a great ambassador as is. it's kind of interesting having ambassadors like this, because you see ones like Georgie and like they're so cute and handleable, and it's like, oh, or the roaches, and it's like, oh, you can hold them and they're not that scary, right? These ambassadors are great examples of why you probably don't want them as pets, but also I think you can still like them, you know, and gain a respect for them just because she's here, and she does have a personality that you can see without us having to handle her. I just want them to be happy, you know. I just want them to be content. All right. How fast could Tico fly? I've read up to 35 miles an hour, but I've never seen the bird fly, so I don't know. In the wild, they eat nuts, berries, seeds, and clay. They eat clay to aid in digestion. In captivity, they eat 75% produce, 25% fruits, and they get 3 different types of pellets, Harrison's pellets. Some of them are coated with some extra nutrients. And then they get nuts also as training treats, some sunflower seeds as well. Sith asked, do macaws lose their coloring when they get older? No, they don't. They stay the same. Sorry, there's feathers flying by my face. What do you do to stimulate parrots? We have lots of enrichment. They get enrichment every day. Enrichment being foraging feeders, foraging boxes, puzzle feeders, stuff that they can tear up that's fun for them, because in the wild they would be foraging for their food, so we give them the opportunity to do that. We give them lots of toys and things like that. So mostly things that they get to rip up. I think in the wild, it's not working. Here we go. I think in the wild, maybe like 30, maybe less. Lifespans in captivity usually about double. So. Is Alveus getting another parrot anytime soon? I don't think Alveus will ever get another parrot unless we lose some of our parrots. I've had a lot of people ask if I will take their pet parrots. And the answer is going to be no. Sorry, we have 4 parrots. It's a lot. It's plenty for what we're trying to do here. Alveus, a lot of people forget, Alveus is a conservation education facility. We have ambassadors so that I can teach people about their species, and they can represent a whole group for conservation. It is an education facility before it's a sanctuary. So I will accept and provide sanctuary to animals that can assist in these education programs. I'm not just going to collect a bunch of parrots because they need homes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they got either of their names, honestly. Sorry. They just came with their names. Miley, we spell Miley M-I-L-E-Y, but she came, the spelling used to be M-I-E-L-E. I changed it, honestly, for y'all and for me, because the spelling was too weird and I knew everyone would mess it up. So it's essentially the same names that they came with. It was odd. Kind of cool, but... All right, a couple more questions. Oh, this one's fun. Their favorite treat? Probably nuts. They like pecans and walnuts and almonds and pistachios. Stuff like that. this one, fox. We're waiting on permits for a fox, and then we're gonna do 2 rats as well. Talk about rodenticides. We're getting a tailless whip scorpion. We're getting jumping spiders. We're probably gonna get some stick bugs as well. So more insects added to that program too. Hyacinth. What up, Spence? Yes, macaws can speak. Tico, Miley's going to sleep. Sleepy? They haven't been in AC in a long time. I think they're vibing. Macaws can speak. Michelle has told me that Tico has spoken, or she's heard Tico say words, but I have never heard Tico say anything. So. All right, last question. Cool. How does Alveus decide on the ambassadors to take? We have a whole formal written out ranking system for species. So we have like, there's a liability section. We give it a score on how high liability it is. We have a section on like trainability, about how much space they need, about how much time they need, care, whatever. And we give them scores. We ranked a bunch of potential species at a meeting a while ago. And then we line them up for what we're interested in. For me, the biggest thing, ambassador tier list, yeah, kind of. The biggest thing for me is education potential. So I want species that need a voice that I can provide. That's the biggest for me, but it tied with liability. So you look at rhinos, right? Rhinos have massive, massive education potential, but they're incredibly high liability. You look at tigers, very, very, very high education potential, but very high liability. Too high, too dangerous to bring to my facility with my staff. So it has to be an animal that has high potential for education, low liability, preferably doesn't need a ton of space, because again, you look at something like a tiger, we're only on 15 acres here. So we need to be able to provide adequately for that animal. So there are a lot of factors that go into it, but I like getting ambassadors that can represent different parts of the industry. They're like different parts of conservation. So we have like fur trade, we have traditional medicine, we have pet trade, we have chytrid fungus with Georgie, stuff like that. There's just like lots of areas I like to cover my bases. But highest liability ambassador we have now, the macaws. If that was your question. Thank you for that answer. No problem. Yeah. Oh, in the ag industry. I think Winnie's going to be dangerous when she's big. Yeah, I mean, as dangerous as a Sero. But that's it. That's going to be the last question. Thank you guys for asking those questions. Sorry it was such a depressing Animal Quest, but it's really important stuff to talk about. I hope you learned a lot. Winnie's going to be like 800 to 900 pounds. A Sero is 1,100 pounds. So, pretty big. Big announcements before I go here. Stompy, I'm like losing my voice. Can y'all hear it? I don't know why. I never lose my voice doing streams like this. But I think it's because of COVID. I had COVID a couple weeks ago now, and my respiratory system is just not back. Like my voice is going out. Like it's getting worse as I'm speaking right now. Anyway, we launched these plushies. Pardon me. We launched these plushies on the 3rd. which is very exciting. We're doing a big Stompy plushie launch party. Oh, you can pre-order them, but that's a secret. I haven't announced that yet, but you can pre-order them on the website right there that Toasty's linking if you want. But they do launch on the 3rd. We're doing a big plushie launch party here in the training center. We're doing plushie dodgeball. We got like 15 of these, and I'm just gonna have streamers throw them at each other. Brit's coming, E-Rob's coming, Slick, Slick, Russell, Young Jeff, other people, a bunch of other people I'm going to try to pull out here. But Connor's making Stompy themed cocktails as well. So Sear's coming. So people are just going to drink and have fun and pitch the Stompy plushies, and then they'll be launched. That's on the 3rd. It's very exciting. On the 1st, this isn't Alveus related, but I am in Twitch Rivals Fall Guys tournament. So that's on the 1st. And then on the 6th, I will be live here in the studio for P.O. Box stream. We have a P.O. Box. I think it's too late for you guys to order from the wish list, but Alveus does have an Amazon wish list. It's a big P.O. Box stream. There's a lot of stuff to unbox. But you can do command wish list if you want. It has a bunch of animal toys and animal food and stuff like that that you can buy for them if you want to donate that way. It's a fantastic way to do it, and I open it all on stream. So you'll see it here, and then you'll probably see me using it on keeping streams. Yeah, we got 15 tripods, which we need. There's tech stuff in there. There's toys. There's cleaning supplies. There's sponge. It's just everything that we need. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that is going to be the end of Animal Quest today. Thank you so much. I know my voice is going. I don't know what's happening to me. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I'm going to do a people count right now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next stream is tomorrow. Oh, gosh. Okay. The next stream, oh, my gosh. I'm streaming tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. Okay, cool. So tomorrow I'm live. I'm going to do a tier list for what streamers would survive on a deserted island. So I'll be live tomorrow night at my desktop for that. And then for a YouTube video. And then Friday I will be live for the Twitch Rivals Fall Guys tournament. And then Saturday I'll be live for a keeping stream all day. And then Sunday is the Stompy plushie launch party. Cool? Did you practice? No. So far my team is Cutie and Myth. I need one more person. I asked Prezzo this morning. All right. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Do 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 do. Let's host Myth because he's gonna be on my team. And teammates stick together. Myth. Thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow night for the tier list thing for the YouTube video. Sorry my voice is going out. I gotta stop talking. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Notice that Wantep? What the hell? Wantep, get out of my head, rent free. Notice that Dion made the bird. He draws a different animal every time. Look at him. Look at him. Goodbye.